Howdy, my name is Rachel Doss, and I will be doing my week 1 learning reflection via video. Please ignore how I look. I'm in the process of lifts right now. But anyway, so week 1 learning reflection requires us to analyze the difference between the historical and contemporary language learning methods. And the language learning method that I chose is the grammar translation method. So I find this actually quite interesting because it actually only focuses on reading and writing and also vocabulary. So for an English language learner or an ELL, this can be quite useful. I remember when I was, taking Spanish class all throughout high school, we didn't learn how to speak Spanish immediately. We were given vocabulary sheets, and a lot of times they had themes such as maybe sports, or these are all the vocabulary for animals or food, which is really helpful because it establishes that base, and over time it gives you kind of that broad understanding of different words. However, I do think some of the struggles with that are, it gives students challenges with speaking in sentences or full sentences. It may give them an understanding of vocabulary, but when it comes to writing essays or maybe speaking in how you would write an essay, that can be very challenging for these students. It is effective, but there are better approaches. I feel like they could learn English in a more holistic way. Sorry, reading the full question. Oh yeah, so developing my own approach, that would be what it would be, more holistic. I would continue to do vocabulary because, to be honest, that has helped me a bunch as well. Even now, I don't remember Spanish all that well, but I can tell you vocabulary words. So giving students that base definitely is very helpful, but I would want to teach them conjugations, and I would want to teach them how to form words in sentences. And by doing that, I would speak more. I would, for example, like if I'm drinking my water right now, I would say, I'm about to pick up my water bottle and drink my water. So students can hear me use those sentences and not just know agua or water. So that is one way I would do it. The next question, I just answered number 2. Number 1 is what was the most memorable thing that stood out for me during week 1. I'm definitely going to have to say that's the video we watched of the teacher doing the morning procedures, reading the book, working with students in small groups. I found that to be very helpful because I've always asked myself, what is it like to be in a classroom with students? How are they going to listen to you? How are they going to be engaged? So watching that video gave me a really good understanding of that. Okay, so number 3, simple ways to incorporate opportunities for speaking and listening. So this is an idea I created. So I want to give students audio readings. So they're going to be about half a page to a page long, and what it's going to do is challenge the students to read that passage first. So that will be reading it aloud. They'll be able to verbally speak it. And then by listening, I will have a pre-recorded audio reading of that. So the challenge is for them to read it aloud, then listen to the audio, maybe correct areas that they were struggling in, and then they would read it aloud again after listening to it. And then some ways I want to provide meaningful practice with listening and speaking is just by labeling things. So I want everything in my classroom to be labeled: tissues, water, markers, crayons. And whenever students need to use something or maybe go to the restroom, I'm going to say, please speak in a full sentence what you are trying to say. And if they struggle with remembering terms or maybe remembering what something is, they'll be able to look at everything labeled in the classroom and being like, I'm going to pick up a marker, and that way they're able to say it, they're able to hear themselves say it, and they're able to see what it looks like written out in the English language. Lastly, simple ways to incorporate reading and writing in the classroom. I'm going to each week make my classroom a certain theme. So let's say the overall arcing theme will be animals or the jungle. So I'm going to read books about the jungle. I'm going to read them out loud. I'm going to show them pictures. We're going to sit in the carpet just like that teacher did in the video. And then I'm going to give students an opportunity to do this later, but I'm going to write my own story about an animal. So I may make a story up about Brown the bear or something like that and write a story about Brown the bear, draw a picture, read that to students and be like, this is my story I created about Brown the bear. And then I'm going to turn it over to the students. This will be their practice. They will be able to read books on their own or audiobooks on their own, so they're able to hear that English language, and then they will be encouraged to illustrate a story. So that story will be something that they draw. Maybe they won't be able to write it out, but I will call them to my kidney table in the back, have them read the story aloud to me or explain it to me. That way they just have practice with reading. They have practice also with writing and conveying their overall ideas about certain topics. Thank you very much. I know that was kind of all over the place, but those were my thoughts on week 1.